this is my neighborhood. Right now we're on 173rd and South Boulevard. Like my brother and them like to call it the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. This hood is like any other hood. You got your hustlers, your basketball players, your rappers, because like that's like the only real way to make money on it.
The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
One of the biggest frustration, you know, in life in general is feeling as if you don't have a way forward, especially when you feel or you know within you that you have a certain talent to contribute to the world.
You will be remembered by the problems you create and the problems you solve. You said that. The tombstone that you're on, I'm going to put your saying in that gun. I hope to live a long time, but it's still in the real.
Spio es una muy joven ingeniera eléctrica, nacida en Nueva York, pero que además ha incursionado en los videojuegos, en las redes. Es una creadora de tecnología y por eso me encanta tener a Mari Spio esta noche. Hola Mari, ¿cómo estás? Buenas noches. Thank you.
She just reminded me that she's not a doctor, but as I go through her bio, you will defer from her own opinion, I'm sure.
Because everything that we do is about solving human problems. So if you don't learn to be compassionate, you're also going to miss opportunity in life to contribute. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you know, the list goes on. In order for me to talk about you tomorrow, you have to find that compassion and solve the problems that the world has. There's a saying, there's an African saying that when a woman succeeds, her family and her community benefits. And when a man succeeds, her girlfriends benefit, you know. While this is a joke, it is actually not too funny that women do 66% of the work in the world, and yet we only receive 10% of the pay in the world. I went to my boss and I said, well, is this it? And him thinking that I was complaining said, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to promote you. We'll promote you to cashier. And that's when I learned my first lesson. Don't be afraid to ask for more money, even when you're making enough. And then working at McDonald's, you know, in Ghana, all the money is different colors, but in the U.S., all the money is the same. It's all green. So when I was at the cashier, you know, there was always a long line in front of me because I couldn't make the change, and people were like, "Can she read?" You know. And so I came up with a system when one guy told me that the American money, there's a dead president on every one of them. So I would identify the $5 bill by Lincoln. I knew he had the sideburns. You know, Benjamin Franklin, he had the bob hairstyle. So that's how, you know, those are some of the challenges.
But one of the days I was working on an equipment that had failed, and the supply team had mentioned to the engineer that they weren't going to be able to get a part in for 2 days. So while he's on the phone, you know, giving them very choice words, I was tinkering with it and I finally fixed it. So when he came in, he said, "Have you ever thought about being an engineer?" And up until then, I didn't know any engineers. I didn't even know engineering existed as a discipline. And so I started thinking about it and I decided to go back to school and become an engineer.
And a lot of times people will ask me, how do you go from launching e-probes into space in search of intelligent life forms, you know, to now Right. You know, and my answer to them is, you know, the medium has changed, but the mission is the same. Instead of
looking for telltale life forms in space, I'm looking for them right doing other